We're back at it again with another Battlefront update. November has been largely quiet as far as Battlefront 2 news is concerned, and for good reason due to EA wanting all the focus to be on Jedi Fallen Order instead, which is why I've largely tried to focus on that game recently and did put out my review on the game last week, so I recommend checking that out if you haven't done so already. However, despite there not being any major updates or announcements made in the last few weeks, we still surprisingly have a lot of news to go over that has popped up in the last couple of days. These topics range from new major changes coming to Capital Supremacy, Palpatine getting nerfed, 2v2 potentially coming to co-op, and clone commandos getting new unique appearances, and more. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, if you're a PC player on Battlefront 2, then you're most likely used to meeting a hacker in your lobby every now and then. It's no surprise that the game on PC has suffered with a hacker problem since 2017. And while things have improved a bit since then, the situation is still out of control on some days, with several known hackers continuing to go unbanned and ruining games for other players. It's come to the point now where the community has started even memeing EA's poor efforts in banning hackers, and for a while now we haven't heard much from EA or DICE if they were going to be taking a stronger stance in bettering the online experience on PC. That is until recently, because when one person on Reddit posted a complaint post and even recorded footage of their latest encounter with an extremely blatant hacker, Battlefront community manager Ben Walk had no choice but to comment on the issue. While he couldn't go into any details on what steps EA and DICE are taking to combat against PC hackers on Battlefront 2, mainly due to what he claims is legal stipulations that he simply cannot break or even bend, Ben did however say EA are working on new stuff behind the scenes to better deal with hackers, and their recent changes has seen the report rate drop to over 30%. In addition to this, he also said that Battlefront 2 has the lowest cheat reporting rate out of any EA title, which I bet is something many PC Battlefront players will be incredibly surprised to learn. Of course, at the end of the day, everyone wants to see results, and that's what's really going to change everyone's tune regarding EA and banning hackers. Whether their new methods that they're currently working on behind the scenes do turn out to be legit, then for sure it's going to make playing the game on PC a better experience for everyone involved, and only further cut down the report rate. Jumping now to the topic of Capital Supremacy, but last video we talked about DICE's ongoing efforts to try and decrease the average game length of Capital Supremacy games, with Ben making it clear that DICE's preferred time that a game of Capital Supremacy on average should last only 45 minutes, and not 1, 2, 3, or even 4 or more hours, which a lot of us have witnessed that at some point. Yeah, those games do tend to drag on. But yeah, we also talked about different ways DICE could go about changing the mode, especially in the capital ship phase, to help make games shorter. I asked you guys to drop your suggestions in the comments section before, as DICE do watch these videos and are always looking for new ideas or feedback. A lot of you did just that, and one suggestion I kept seeing brought up quite a bit was incorporating a timer in the mode like in Battlefield. This being, for example, setting it to 60 minutes so that players won't be stuck in a stalemate for multiple hours. And well, guess what? Ben has actually responded to this exact suggestion and claims this wouldn't be the solution that DICE are looking for here. He said, a timer could work, but we don't want it to be a case where you're in the middle of a game and then you get some arbitrary message come up and say game over. We'd like it to have an actual win/loss state, so regardless of what happens, you know why. The changes we have made recently to the health of the ship objectives worked rather well. We can see the average time spent in a game of CS has dropped. Our goal with the changes we made should push this further in the direction that we're looking for. As for one possible solution to the question on how to make Capital Supremacy games shorter, it seems one person called Sam Weiss has given DICE a rather good idea on how to do it. According to Sam Weiss, their solution to this is to end the game after 2 successful defenses. where during the game you could have voice lines or an end video saying their defenses are too strong, retreat now, or something along those lines. And the attacking team would flee the battlefield, or each successful defense charges your ship's cannons, and once you got 2, your capital ship could destroy the other ship and yeah, you win the game. Either way, it's an interesting idea, and it looks like this could be something that DICE intends to implement in the future, as Ben went on to say that they've had thoughts along similar lines to this. With that said, I did see some people pushing back against this idea, so if DICE really do go through and change up things in a new update, then it's possible not everyone may be a fan of it. But what do you all think about this solution and DICE doing something like this? I'd be very interested to hear what my viewers specifically have to say about this very possible upcoming change. Next, another complaint recently raised in Capital Supremacy is the camera response from vehicle maneuvering, especially on maps like Felucia, where the camera will shake really bad as you move throughout the map. From what we currently know, this is a server problem caused by bots and players, as this isn't an issue on instant action as that runs locally on your console or PC. It should be noted that Ben did acknowledge this, saying he'll bring it up with the team over at DICE and see where they are at with the status on it. But as always, they run on a priority list and there are no guarantees this will be fixed anytime soon. As far as new hero nerfs are to go, it's looking darn likely that the Senate may soon be seeing one issued upon him by DICE. According to a comment by Ben, they're currently taking a look at Palpatine, as they can see his average kill and death ratio has increased ever so slightly since the last update. They're now digging into the data and we'll see what tweaks need to be made to help correct this. As to why Palpatine has recently found himself on DICE's radar, then I'm pretty sure the main reason has actually to do with his chain lightning. Which I'm sure probably many of you already know this, but his chain lightning ability is currently able to go straight through blocks when he has certain star cards equipped. I'm not going to mention which of those star cards are for obvious reasons, especially since DICE do know, but yeah, it goes without saying that it's a big problem to go up against someone who you literally can't block jack against. In all fairness, I'd really call this more of a fix than a nerf, but to each their own. Moving on to co-op, but plenty of players in the community are now getting excited over a potential upcoming change that DICE could implement in co-op. And it's all thanks to one very well-known bug it has that I'm sure all of you co-op regulars will know about. This all happened after a tweet from Manuel Lanes, who's the live service director of Battlefront 2, who tweeted out saying, "Sometimes we still have a bug where co-op starts 3 versus 1. If instead we had a bug starting co-op in 2 versus 2, it would probably be everyone's favorite bug of all time in Star Wars Battlefront 2, paraphrasing of course what he meant by his last sentence. When someone asked if DICE would consider making this a real option, Manuel gave a rather positive response to that, with people in the community now thinking this could legitimately become a thing. Of course, it goes without saying nothing here confirms that DICE will actually go ahead and do this, but at the same time, we certainly can't write off this possibility, especially when the game's live service director thinks it's a good idea. I myself would love an option for 2v2 in co-op, as it would kinda feel like Battlefront 2's take on Modern Warfare's 2v2 gunfight mode, and that has quickly become a fan favorite in the Call of Duty community, so who knows. As for the next update that we will be getting, which is the delayed November update in early December, we did recently get some new interesting tidbits on what will and could feature there. First, we'll go over the confirmed content, and that is the UI customization that has been heavily requested by the community will finally be making its way to the game. According to Ben, these new UI options will allow us to turn certain UI elements on and off, along with allowing us to resize and even move around some of them too. This will surely excite all those people who do hate the way the current UI is set up, as I've seen many people complaining about it being too obtrusive and in general takes up way too much attention from the battles. So UI customization is 100% confirmed coming in the next update. As for the unconfirmed content that we are likely to get in the next update, It's been lately heavily implied by Ben Walk that some of the reinforcement appearances we're gonna be getting could be for the clone Commandos. Because over on Reddit, one person was showing off a custom-built clone Commando helmet they were making, and started asking people what design they should paint it. Everyone of course had different opinions, but Ben then chimed in out of nowhere and said, "Don't paint it yet," teasing and making it seem that DICE are in the works of designing some brand new skins for the clone Commandos. And based on Ben's comment, they should be some seriously cool designs. Now, we've heard from Ben before that DICE also don't intend on using appearances that are only used by one specific character in canon. Like for example, don't be expecting a Gregor Commando skin anytime soon. So these new appearances will without a doubt be original designs DICE have created from scratch. As for what they will be, then well, we're gonna have to wait and find out until early December. At this point, we know for 99% sure that we will be getting new appearances for the droid Commandos that have been leaked a while ago, and along with that, Ben as well teased that we may get some appearances for the ARC Troopers too. But to hear about us now potentially getting both ARC Trooper and Clone Commando appearances all in one update is definitely amazing, and a real treat for Clone Wars fans. Sure, it is a little unfair if this does turn out to be the case, and the Republic get appearances for 2 reinforcements while the Seppies for only 1, then perhaps not everyone may be too happy with that decision. So before we end things off, do you also think DICE could and should give the Super Battle Droids a new appearance as well? Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing DICE give them a training droid skin, especially if the droid Commandos are getting one. But who knows, maybe DICE could create something completely unique for them if they're doing that for the ARC Troopers and the Clone Commandos. Either way, we're just gonna have to wait and find out. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.